Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Race 4 of the ARC Season 2 Championship Series. I'm joined in the commentary booth by
my Savoy. Hello.
Nice, Savoy. How are you doing today?
Good. I've been really looking forward to this race. How are you today?
I'm doing quite well myself. We are here in a beautiful early morning Bathurst here at beautiful Mount Panorama. Very difficult and challenging track. Let's look at the current circuit. We have turn 1, Hell Corner, which leads into the long mountain straight, which then into the tight hard braking of Gr3's Bend. And then we have the cutting, moving into Reed Park and Sullivan Park. And that's it for the uphill. Then we start going downhill as they cross Skyline into the S's and into the infamous Dipper and around Forest Elbow. And then back onto the Conrad Straight, a very long straightaway, not uncommon to see some cars hit over 275 kilometers per hour. Then they head through the kink and into the infamous Chase, and then into Murray's Corner, back onto the start-finish straight. The current lap record set on this track is set by Christopher Mies in the Audi R8 in 2018, and the current ARC lap record that was set last season is by Alex Rogers with a 201.492. Let's look at our competitors for today. We have Defiant 195 in the current championship leader Lemon Pen in the Lexus RCF. Matt Wing and Bout 21 in the Toyota Supra Racing Concept. However, Matt Wing is not here today. We have Gr3 and Chill Nom Nom in the Aston Martin V12 Vantage. Thomas Mr. TT and Alex Rogers in the Porsche 911. Defcon AC and Kobu GT in the BMW M6, but Defcon AC is not here with us today as well. CRubennnn and PG Vaporo in the Volkswagen Beetle. And Dark Reef Slark and PKMZ, the man who is my bet to win today, in the Mercedes AMG. Now to look at the current points standings, LemonPen still currently on top with 150 points. However, Ruben in a very strong second place with 109 points. And PKMZ followed up in third with 83 points. And Dance303, last season's championship winner, currently in fourth with 81 points. Looking over at the constructor standings, we still see Pegasus Racing leading the constructors with a solid 167 points. But not very far behind, we have the Bugging Beetles with Ruben and PG Vapro, who've been very consistent throughout the season so far, in a current second place with 153 points. And then in a not so distant third place, we have a Alito Racing with Alex Rogers and Thomas Mr. TT with 135 points. So, Savloy, I have to ask you, going into this race, as we mentioned in the driver's briefing after last season, we had some drivers who were looking forward to this race, namely PKMZ and Kobu GT. It's almost their home track, you would say. How do you think it's going to play out today?
As seen from since I commentated on the endurance race, PK drove a flawless race in that one. You could also say Alex has a bit of a shout as well, because he won the Porsche Super Cup race. He won that by nearly an entire lap. So don't count out Alex as well. He could be a threat as well. But I think it was I can't remember if you said last week that Kobu has like around about the same times as TRL Lightning. If he's up there with that, then watch out for him. He's probably my bet to win this race. Hopefully,
Kobu. You
hope I'm right. I'm gonna say Kobu. Yeah, I'm gonna stick my neck out here, and I'm gonna go for Kobu. But is there anyone that's gonna beat LemonPen? He's 3 for 3. He's hungry to make it 4 for 4. He's the defending winner of this track a season ago. He wants to win it again, and he wants to prove why he is the dominant driver in TNA. But PK maybe feeling a lot of confidence after that podium finish last week at Suzuka, which to me, I think he was driver of the day last week. If there was a guy that ever earned his first ever podium, it was PK. The amount of pressure he had that whole race from Thomas late on and from Alex, pretty much the whole race was superb. But yeah, this is going to be a very good race.
I would have to agree with you on that. However, I don't think it's going to be Kobu's race to win. We mentioned that he's very competitive with TRL Lightning. However, he usually drives the GTR when it comes to those daily races. He's not usually driving the M6, and this year he's been struggling quite a bit in it. He's been struggling with the rear end grip, the top end speed. He's not quite used to it yet still. But that's why my vote for this race is going to have to go to PKMZ. He's very strong at this track, just like Kobu GT, and he's in his car. It's his home track. We've seen the practice lobbies leading up to this. He's been very competitive with LemonPen, if not more consistent. So I think if PKMZ has brought it here today, he's here with the mindset to win. I think PK is going to take it. He's going to end LemonPen's streak of 3 consecutive races.
If there's one thing I want to correct you on, PK is Irish and this track is Australian, so it's not his home track.
Metaphorically speaking.
No, but like I said, I commentated on the endurance race, and I think PK was the only driver to have not made a mistake, except for the little pit lane issue. But I think he was probably the only driver, well, between him and Alex, that didn't make any damage on their car whatsoever. It was just a completely, perfect race from start to finish. But I think definitely PK is definitely one to look out for. Again, it's Kobu, but we'll find out. There's 22 laps around this track, so And I mean, I also noticed from last season's race, I did watch last season's race, which is on YouTube. Go check it out, subscribe. It's Adrenaline Racing Community. There was a lot of drivers that made a lot of mistakes, and I was one of them. I made a few of them. But Lemon Pen didn't make a mistake at all in that race, and that was how he got the win. He just drove a flawless race there. So, got to join a new lobby again on dance now. What's going on here?
Yeah, I think some issues with some drivers being stuck and unable to connect or join on track. So having a few issues here with Gran Turismo. Since the new update, we've had quite a few connection issues here. Hopefully, it doesn't delay the race too long. So sorry about that. But speaking of Alex Rogers, a driver who we saw quite dominant in season 1. His first race, I believe, was this race here at Mount Panorama, where he qualified on pole in the Porsche as well.
Yeah.
But throughout this season, he's been struggling with that Porsche. He's made a lot of mistakes we don't normally see him make. He struggled at Dragon Trail. We saw at Suzuka, just uncharacteristic mistakes.
Yep.
How do you think this is going to play into this race? Do you think in the back of his head he knows that this season hasn't been quite as strong as last season, so he's, that's might be, got that little bug in his head, or do you think he's willing to put it behind him for this race?
I think he's got to put it behind him. His words, what happened at Suzuka was, in his words, detrimental to his mental focus. Two critical mistakes he did. Well, actually, he did 3. He got loose at the spoon curve, but the most critical one was after all that time getting by PK. He then goes and bins it in the first corner, and he did it not once but twice, and went on to finish in 8th position. I did ask him how Suzuka was a disastrous race for him after Bathurst, which I believe you do have a week off for this league race. We've got to my knowledge, a 3-hour endurance race next week.
Yes, we do. At night, so, 3 hours at Nürburgring, 24 hours.
I don't know if Alex is going to race in this, but I says, what would you do in that week to get your title picture back on track? He says, I don't really know, to be truthful. I've been quick, but due to a variety of factors, it hasn't come together. I'm starting to think that coming into the season as one of the favourites has put a lot of pressure on me, and it's paying off with all the mistakes that I'm doing. He says he knows he can win races. We've seen that. We see that in season 1. He won 2 races. And he also dominated the endurance race. Like I says, he says, I'm just looking forward not to being under pressure to perform the next few races. And I think that's what he needs to do. He's a long way off Lemon Pen off the points lead. Suzuka was a disastrous race for him. Fuji was a superb one. He finished 2nd, even though he made that superb pass on Dan's around the outside at the Dunlop hairpin.
Yes.
Yeah, superb. But that's what he needs to do. He needs to do these performances like what he did at Fuji, and he should be all right.
Yeah, we have seen him struggling quite a bit, but I think he really just has to get down to it, calm himself down. If you do want to watch him stream, he does stream all these races live at Alex Rogers, twitch.tv/Alex Rogers, the same as his username that we have, to give him a little shout out there. But it's just those mistakes that they add up throughout the course of the season. And now we're halfway done the season, as you mentioned. I think at this point, if we were to pull the points back up again, it's almost a bit too hard. He's sitting currently 6th with 72 points. Even if he wins this race and Lemon Pen doesn't finish the next 2 races, only then, and in that scenario, would he pass Lemon Pen for points. Even then, he still wouldn't be leading, as a lot of the other drivers would be even higher than him in said points. So I think at this point, it's almost too late for him to even really be competing. However, he has managed to crank it up towards the end of the season. As we saw last season, he was in 9th as he came in late and managed to finish 4th in the championship after that last race. So there is still room to make up those points, but I think at this point his championship hunt is over.
I mean, this is just coming towards the end of the first half of the season, and I think you could write out the ones that are pretty much at the bottom, but I wouldn't write off Alex. I think if he can get a string of good performances going and hope that Lemon Pen makes a few mistakes, which, in fairness, Lemon Pen hasn't done a lot of mistakes this season. But if it's a rare thing that he does make a mistake, maybe the guys like Alex, PK will pounce on that, and then hopefully we'll have ourselves a bit of a championship going. 41 points is still a big enough gap. That's nearly like the gap between a race win to a last place finish. So effectively, Lemon Pen does have a race win gap over Rubens in second. But anything is different around Bathurst. We know how tight and twisty it is. It's very easy to make a mistake. Otherwise, you'll be tasting wall. So we'll see. We will see.
We definitely will here at Bathurst. One thing I want to point out as we pull up the track map again, 22 laps with 23 turns and just over 6 kilometers in length here at Mount Panorama. Looking at the current lap records for the current arc and the real life drivers, we see the 159.2 set by Christopher Mies in the Audi R8 Ultra. That was the car on the qualifying laps, the qualifying settings where they turned the cars up. The actual race record lap was set by Shane Van Gisbergen in the McLaren 650S with a 102.5. That
102?
Sorry, 201, excuse me. 201.5.
A 102 must have been flying.
You set by a 201.5, which was beat last year by Alex Rogers in qualifying in the Porsche 911 and has been tied many times this season by not only Lemon Pen but by PKMZ in the Lexus RCF and Mercedes AMG respectively. So if you ever have any qualms or questions about the caliber of the drivers here in Tier A, they are matching lap time for lap time with some of the best drivers on the world in real life around this track.
I think we're still having a bit more problems on this, I think.
I do think we are, which is unfortunate. We have to delay the qualifying session so much. So drivers having to leave and then rejoin. Gran Turismo has not been too fair to a lot of these drivers today. Hopefully we don't have to postpone the race.
Oh, I hope not. I hope not, because Monday I'm at darts tomorrow.
We will see how things turn out. Hopefully we can get this resolved quickly for you. Do you have any more information? You've asked some of the drivers here.
Yeah, I've asked the questions for this race. First time I spoke to Vopsy this season. So I says to him, after finishing strong in your debut and then struggling 2 races over in Japan, how are you finding life in Tier A? He says, it's good, but the Beetle is boring. He says, I hardly practice at all because I've been playing mostly some iRacing instead, but it's been fun so far. Well, play more GT Sport, please. Speaking to Kubu as well, I says to him, after 2 strong finishes in Japan, how is your confidence heading into Bathurst? He says, Bathurst is my strongest track. Consistency-wise, the M6 isn't the fastest car around the track, but I think I can make a top 5 finish with good fuel tyre management. One thing I would say as well is going back to the endurance race with PK. We had 7 racers that's in Tier A right now be in that race, and 5 of them finished in the top 5. And there was an M6 racer in there, and that was Matt Wing, and he finished in 5th position. So I can't say Matt Wing's a terrible driver. He's a very good driver. There's no doubt about it. He's in the best tier in this group. Maybe top 5 would be a right thing for Kobo, actually. Yeah, got to say to that.
I would also expect that. We did see earlier in some of the practice lobbies, Chilled Nom Nom, a driver who he's shown flashes of the performance. We saw him out-qualify his teammate Dan's at Suzuka. We saw him make some excellent passes at Fuji, and even once again at Suzuka. Some we didn't get on camera, looking back at it. But he's a very strong driver in his own right. We've even seen here in some of the practice lobbies, as I was just mentioning, he's been quite strong. He's had better laps than Alex Rogers has. He's had flashes of that greatness. It's just getting the consistency in his starts down. I feel like he needs to work on. that I feel like that's his weak point here. That's we've seen a lot of mistakes after he's accomplished those great things, and something happens that breaks his focus, or he realizes that hey, that was a good pass, and the next thing we know, he's in the dirt or spinning around. So, do you think
Yeah.
maybe Chilled Nom Nom might actually start to come into it, start to realize, and maybe make up on his mistakes later in the half of the season?
Well, I hope so, because like he says, he's a fine driver. His qualifying has been his strong suit, but when it comes to race, he has done some mistakes. But everyone makes mistakes when it comes to racing. Um, like he says, Chilled Nom Nom is out qualified Dan's the last time out of Fuji before binning it in the first corner. And then also, you talked about it, Fuji as well, how he made that great double pass there going at the first corner. And then a few corners later, he bins it. If he can just stop doing that, and then, he'll be on course to do very well, actually. I think I said a couple of weeks ago that Nom Nom didn't race in Tier B. I was watching my friend's one of his races from season 1, and he did race in Tier B at the Nürburgring. But I think with Nom Nom, I think he's fitted into Tier A very well. Unlike a Defiant, who comes into this as the champion, and he's been struggling in that Lexus. So I hope Nom Nom, I hope and pray, as much as I hate to see it, and since he's been bullying me on Discord, that I want Nom Nom to do quite well in this race.
I do believe he has. I have to agree with you. He has that thing about him. He has that. It's a weird thing that I've experienced myself in my career of racing karts in real life. When everyone knows about. Okay, it's a bit of a story time here to go off on a tangent, but before I do that, we have the Cool Chan chat asking when the race will start. We're not quite sure yet. We've had some lobby issues with connection issues about drivers not being able to drive on track, so we're trying to resolve that. We're going to do a test start here in a few moments, so hopefully qualifying will start soon after that. But back to the story. The story of Ayrton Senna at Monaco. The race where he was leading by almost several minutes. And then the team messaged him, broke his concentration, and then he crashed the car. And when they interviewed,
before the bridge?
Pardon?
Before they went on the bridge? Was that when he lost it?
Yes, before he went into the tunnel after the chicanes.
Yeah.
Or hairpins, I should say. But he would mention later in the race, in the driver interview, that it was like he was a man driving like a man possessed. He was not there, he was just driving. And it's weird to say, but it feels like it's sometimes something you can experience yourself as a driver, and I felt it myself, where all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you gain almost a second a lap for almost no reason. You just keep going faster and faster and then faster. And then something breaks your concentration, and then it's over.
Yeah.
I feel like Nom Nom has experienced that, and that might be what he's experiencing. It's a very surreal thing, and I don't know if I can accurately describe it, but it's something like that, where you just get in this zone and everything works for you. Then all of a sudden something happens, or you snap out of that concentration, and then it's over. It's a weird thing to experience, but I think that it's something similar to that he might be experiencing.
Yeah, I think you've nailed it there. Like, it's the same. I think it's the same for everyone. Once you get, you can just go over that boundary, and then you try and beat it the next lap, and then you might be faster than a couple of hundredths, and then the next lap you do it, and then one teensy bit of mistake, and it loses your momentum, and then you have these certain doubts in your head saying, "Oh, should I take this like faster or what have you?" But yeah, with Nom Nom, it's hard to put it in, like, to explain it like how you did. But anyway, I think qualifying has actually started, I believe. Looking back at it, I think it is.
Yes, it has.
We've got some racing. We've got some qualifying, folks. Yes.
Lobby is still a little laggy for you viewers here at home. The lobby, some drivers still dealing with some lag issues. The current update has messed up a bit of the connection here in Gr3, so we are sorry about that. But qualifying is currently underway. Currently on board 11 Penny as he starts his outlap as he goes through Skyline into the S's. So once again, now that we have qualifying underway, let's cover our picks for this race. My pick would be PKMZ. If he can get that head down and focus, I believe he would be the odds-on favorite to win here at Mount Panorama. And for you, Savoy, your pick would be?
I said Kobu. Oh, Alex has just joined now as well. Yeah, it definitely looks a bit laggy just looking at Lemon Pen. So I believe Dan's is the server on this, isn't it? And I just noticed on Dan's server there's 2 orange bars on it, whereas Kev's was on 5 green. It was perfect. But let's hope we can just get this all sorted after qualifying and then get on with this 22-lap race.
Yes, we can. As we see Lemon Pen going through the chase now as he heads towards Murray's corner. As he goes around the corner for his start of his first flying lap. Let's go on board with him, the current championship leader, as he is about to cross the start-finish line. Here he is coming in towards Hell Corner, braking just after between the 150 boards, back on the throttle at apex, using all of the runoff. That's a very long straight. You want to make sure you carry as much speed as you can. You see the marshal waving a blue flag for whatever reason there. As they come up here to the first split under the supercharged batteries bridge. Currently up 19.1. Seems like a good split. You want to start braking right around the access road on the left side. Hard on the throttle, blinks back again. Take all of the curb on the exit. Carry as much speed as you can as you come up towards the cutting flat through this corner. Hard on the brakes. You want to make sure you take the tight apex. Very easy to get the corner wrong. It's a very off-camber corner. Once again, flat on the throttle as you come through the reeds. All of the curb, maybe a little bit of a wall touch there, but gets away with it as he heads through Suleiman Park now. Very flat here, slight lifts to get the car pitched and turns in. Now through Skyline. Very good, it's very steady through there. Now he heads into the S. You see hard on the brakes, back on the throttle, then really hard on the brakes here as he heads here. You want to make sure you cut that corner as much as you can as he heads into the dipper. Back on the throttle here as he heads into the Forest Elbow. Hard back onto the brakes. Take the apex, very good apex, back onto the throttle, use as much of the track as you can, and now into the Conrad straight. Very fast, very downhill, and a slight uphill as you see here on the screen. Currently hitting 240 to 250 kilometers an hour before he hits the uphill, and then back into a downhill, which will give the cars a lot of speed here. 270, almost 275 kilometers an hour before the braking zone, right at the 100 board. Very good through the chase here. Back on the throttle, using all of the curb here as he heads back again back to Murray's corner. Going to be braking between 150 boards. Not taking any of the curb as it unsettles the car. Back on the throttle, we will see the time here as he crosses the start-finish line. This is going to be a 2:02 flat.
Yeah, and he made a couple of mistakes in that lap there, in the second sector, and also the first corner, a Hell Corner. Ran a little bit wide, got on a little grass, and then also hit the pole in the second sector, like in Solman, and then just about approaching the Forest Elbow, he touched the two. So not a clean lap for Lemon Pen, but so far it's good for pole position.
Currently PKMZ once now on his second flying lap. Currently purple in that first sector after he set a 2:02.1 on his last lap, and that's still with a full tank of fuel, so PKMZ definitely wants to win that pole position here. It will favor the AMG, and as AMG an absolute rocket ship off the line as we saw every other race so far. Excuse me. Let's look through the field. Currently Lemon Pen, your current pole sitter, with a 2:02 point flat. PKMZ in second with a 2:02.1. Kevmeister, a man we haven't seen too much of this season, currently in third with a 2:02.7. Chilled Nom Nom, the driver we were talking about earlier, currently in fourth with a 2:02.8. Kobu GT, your favorite to win this race, with a 2:03.2. Dance 303, the last season's champion, currently purple as well with a 2:03.5. Defiant 195, currently in 7th place with a 2:03.9. Boxy in 8th with a 2:04.3. Ruben in 9th with a 2:05.4. Dark Reef Slug in 10th, currently also purple with a 2:06.2. Thomas TT in 11th, currently yet to set a time on his outlap. And Alex Rogers also on his outlap, yet to set a time.
Just watching here with Kobu, and PK got a good slipstream off Kobu. Oh, and nearly
PKMZ
Oh,
will go
PK.
wide at the exit of the chase. That will
Yeah,
cost him this lap. Hopefully he doesn't hit the wall too hard, and I think he did. Yes, he
yeah,
did.
he did.
But he will get
So
no damage from it. So he will wait for some of the drivers to go by before rejoining the track.
yeah, he was trying to pass Kobe going into the chase and kind of got an acceleration a bit too early, and then the back end came around on him. Kev, I stopped the second place there. Good shot. I spoke to Kevin before the race, and I says the one thing that Kev's been really bothered by was his qualifying pace. He hasn't been qualifying particularly well. I'm trying to put up the stats here. Kev, I mean, his best qualifying of the season so far has been 4th, but the next 2 races, 6th and an 8th. And he says that his qualifying pace has been letting him down. But so far, looking at that, he's sitting in 2nd place. So good effort in that Toyota.
Yeah, but Toyota, the track that car favors, very fast car on the top lines of lead. Picked the car for this season, notably because it was very good on tires and fuel. But last season in the GTR, a car that he also mentions was very bad on tires and fuel, he was faster in. Do you think that it could possibly be that maybe the GTR has a slightly higher skill ceiling than the Toyota? And maybe that slightly higher skill ceiling is what favors Kev?
I don't know. I haven't driven the GTR that much, and also the Supra too, so I couldn't really speculate what's the difference between them two. But I really don't know, to be honest with you. Not a clue.
As they see Kev currently on the Panorama straight heading towards the kink and the chase. Let's go back to PKMZ, currently sitting in 3rd, currently purple after that mistake we saw last lap. So PKMZ definitely on it now and does not want to be that 3rd place. He's here to win. As you see him catching up to the back of CRubennnn, going to get the drop off of him as they head towards the kink.
Speaking of Kev, he finished runner-up in this race last season, in that Nissan, and he was catching up on Lemon Pen, because I watched the race on the YouTube, and he was catching Lemon Pen in a hurry, and then I think the tyres went away. But to me, I think that Nissan is a bit of a grippy car than the Toyota. That's my opinion.
See a yellow flag there through Murray's corner. You see a chill nom out in the grass. PKMZ will cross the line with a 2:01.9. He will improve his time, but it will not put him any higher on the leaderboards. Currently, Dan's 3:03 in 4th. Again, a car that favors Mount Panorama. A very powerful V12 in the front of that car. Kobe GT, your favorite, still in 5th place with a 2:02.7. Currently matching where he expected to finish. Chill nom still in 6th after we saw him at the exit of Murray's corner in the gravel trap. Defiant currently 7th. So Defiant's now maybe starting to get into that car this season. We saw him towards the back of the pack in a lot of the races, but now currently sitting solid in the middle of the field here at Mount Panorama. Dark Creek
He spoke to me after the Suzuka race, and he had a very interesting tyre choice. We noticed that he was the only one that was on mediums and everyone else was on softs. But he said to me in that race, he had medium on the fronts and softs on the rears.
That's a very interesting strategy.
Yeah, that is very interesting. I said, did it work? And he says, no.
One thing to note, CRubennnn currently sitting 10th, Alex Rogers and Officer Tiki 11th and 12th respectively. Alex Rogers once again on his outlap, still yet to set a time, as there's roughly, to say, 10 minutes left in qualifying, as I do believe in chat it was said time would stop at the 10-minute mark.
I don't have many times up on my screen. All I'm just seeing is like the qualifying, like the positions in the map, but I don't see like the times in front of me, so I can't commentate on that for you.
Mike, did you enable the Switch keyboard setup?
Oh, I've done it. It's on. It is on, but it's just not letting me show.
Try pressing circle, then pressing circle again, and it might appear.
Yeah, I forgot to put display on. What an idiot.
PKMZ currently still in pole position, only a 10th ahead of Kev Meister in seconds. PKMZ will improve his time to be less than a 10th behind Kev Meister, so currently the top 3 with all within 2/10 of each other.
Just wanted to point out as well there, we do have a driver of the day, but we've got a new award, Idiot of the Day, and that belongs to me so far.
PKNZ we saw on the mountain straight, getting the draft of Thomas Mr. TT as they go up the mountain now, currently going purple because of that draft. Can PKNZ hold it together as he heads through the cutting? We will see as he now goes through Reeds Park and now through Solomon Park.
This is the important corner because the track goes down. You see the massive dip. It's very easy to hit the wall. We saw a lot of drivers in the endurance race smack that wall. PK a little loose on in the exit of Philomene, now into the S's, and he's purple. He's 2.5 tenths up. This could be pole position here,
now as he heads down the mountain, now trying to control that car through every single off-camera corner he has. Some great camera angles here by PD. Thank you, PD, as he heads through the forest elbow now, back onto the throttle. You will see as he heads now down the straightaway, down the mountain, as he goes under the next bridge we will see the split time if he is still ahead. No, he's down.
Only 7 tenths down. Yeah, I think that's because of the straight line speed. The Mercedes, is the Mercedes faster than the Lexus? I don't think it is.
I believe they're quite even in straight line speed. I believe he lost that time as he started going down through the S's. He made a slight mistake, which caused the rear end of the car to slide out right before the dipper.
Gone into the pits.
Yeah, going into the pits now for a new set of rubber.
He did kiss the wall when they entered the forest elbow too.
Well, down through the big ring on his outlap as he heads down the Conrad Straight himself. Gr3 still in 5th, and Chill Nom Nom still in 6th. Will Chill Nom Nom improve his time? He will not. He's currently half second down in the last lap. So currently, your top 5, Lemon Pen, Arc Kevmeister, Arc PKMZ, Dan03, and Cobru GT. All in different cars, mind you.
Just looking at Alex here, she's coming to Muddy's corner to complete his lap time. Wonder what will be. Again, nicely through Muddy's.
Looks like it might be pretty quick as he heads towards the line.
It's going to be 4th. 2:02.410.
He's currently a second off of his previous qualifying record here in ARC, and the current fastest lap that ARC has seen here on Panorama. At 2:02.4 is good enough for 4th place, as we now have 6 different cars in the top 6, and still purple per sector.
Were you brave enough to watch his stream on Sunday?
Afterwards, yes.
Yeah, he was. I think I can understand his frustrations that, you know, with him having, you know, he's got the most poles so far than any other driver in TNA. It was just one thing that I picked up on. He was really annoyed with how he can start the car on pole position, but then by the first corner he could be like 3rd and 4th. If he would take a pole position here, do you think he will take it, considering that the first corner is about, what, 300 meters away, and it's not as long as what it was in Fuji and Suzuka?
I don't think he will, because we saw that last season as well. He qualified in pole and then immediately lost to lead to both M3s off the line. So I believe if he still qualifies on pole, he will still lose it. I do know he was unhappy with how we do the starts here in Tier A, the standing starts. But my counter argument is you raced the pole last season. You chose the pole again this season. You know it's bad off the line. You made that choice yourself, and I don't see why you can complain.
You made your own bed and you lied in it. I've just noticed he's gone purple in sector 2. He's nearly 2 tenths up.
Yeah, he's been purple all around the lap, so we might see him once again take that pole from Lemon Pen if he can hold it through the chase and through Murray's corner, the last corner of the track. Here we go hard on the brakes, we can see it. Taking it
2:01.3, maybe 2:01.4. Here he comes across the line. Is it pole position so far? It is
2:01.5. A 10th off. Actually, only a few hundredths off his previous season's qualifying record. And will drop down to 2nd place. Kevmeister in 3rd, and PKMZ still in 4th. So the top 4 all still within a few tenths of each other.
So the gap between 5. Okay then, so top 5. Sorry, top 4 separated then 3 tenths. That's close there, that one.
It is very close. PKMZ still trying his best. He's on a fresh set of rubber now on a flying lap with half a tank of fuel. So I want to see his split here as he heads down the mountain. He's purple as
and
well.
He's faster.
So PK is wanting it today. If he can hold it through the down mountain section.
Oh, got a little sideways on the exit of the cutting. Might cost a little time.
He's going to catch up to some of the drivers here on the Conrad straight. We got Vopsy ahead of him, but he's not quite close enough to catch a draft, so that will not help him. We'll see once again as he goes under the speeding bridge here.
Apologies, it was the dipper, not the cutting. My bad. Again, it didn't have the day.
He's still purple, but only by 7 thousandths. If he can maintain that pace all through the chase of Murray. Lemon's gone pole.
He has 2:01.3, and it's the new qualifying lap record.
Very fast lap from Lemon Pen, smashing the record by over a tenth. Kevin Meister pulls off the side of the penalty and make his pit stop. Will PK gain any time through the last sector? We will see. It'll be very close.
Oh, here we go.
We'll go second.
2:01.474, just over a tenth off. So Alex down to third, Kev Meister down to fourth. I think it's going to be a 4-horse race for the win, people.
It just might be. It'll be very interesting to see. PKM's one of the few drivers on the field who uses a controller, and because of that, he's still purple. He's up by a tenth in the first sector. So PKMC still has more in the tank he can give, especially as the car gets lighter. He set that lap on half a tank of fuel.
Look at his tyres, though. I mean, he must have made a pit stop. Yeah, he did on his 6th lap. Oh, he ran a little wide. That's cutting, Sean. Well done.
As he catches Vopsy now through the mountain section, we will see if he can maybe stay behind him, but still be fast enough and not lose any time behind him, and maybe lose the draft of that Volkswagen Beetle as we get to call down for 3 minutes remaining in qualifying.
Actually, 2 minutes to go. It says 18 on my clock here.
It's 3 on mine and 3 on Dan's, so that's what we're going for. He's still up by purple. He's still purple by 2 tenths as he has now heading down the hill. Vopsy makes a mistake that will not cost PK any time. As we see now, he will not get a draft down the main straight, so he will lose out to Kev Meister in that sector. The super very strong and straight line. Very fast through there, back on the throttle. Will he bop Lemon Pen for pole here? If he can take pole position, I believe this race will be PK's. He will not have anyone to fight, and he will hold that race from the lead of the race. So we will see under the bridge if he's still purple. No, he's down.
No, he's not. I think that when Vopsy made that mistake, I think that might have put him off, PK off.
It might have had to get just dab a little bit of the brakes, let off the throttle, make sure he doesn't tap PG Vaporo. So another lap in the books will come for PKMZ. His tires still looking very good, so he still has time, and his tank will be even lighter.
One more lap to do. One more lap to go. And then that's the end of it. Will he go faster? No, he doesn't. So he lost 2 more temps in that last sector. Runs a little wide through Hell Corner.
Let's see if he can get that time back again here. Again, cruising up on another driver here, going up the mountain straight. Not quite sure who it is, but as he enters the supercharged batteries bridge, still up by a tenth, so he's still purple. There is still more in that tank for PKMZ. He just has to get the downhill section right.
Just noticed here, Kobu up to 4th, 2:01.748. He's up to 4th.
So now we have several drivers under the 2:01 time banner. PKMZ still going up the mountain here, going through Reed Park and out through Solomon Park. Will he still be purple before they come down Skyline as there's a driver stops on Skyline? Will he see him going as there's yellow flags waving? Hopefully that will not cost him any time. As Dr. Slark gets his teammate pulled off to the side of the track, he will not do any more laps. He's still purple by almost half a second.
Oh wow, he is on a mission, PK. I was just about to say Ruben's just put his Beetle in 9th position, but you know, back to your battle for PK's lap.
As he goes down through the forest elbow, taking a very wide line.
Oh, he's
still
sideways.
wide. He's sideways, but wide there, kissing the wall, but he has half a second to maybe spare as he now heads down the Conrad Straight. The car in front of him, that may be Kobu in front. That will be Kobu in front of him as Defcon is not here in the race, but he's not quite going to get a drop from him. Will he still be purple under the bridge? He is. Can he maintain? Will he maintain that pace all the way through the chase? Braking now just after the 100 bore, hard on the brakes. Turning in, half throttle, full throttle now, getting the car rear end, kicking out. using now Kobe GT. He is closing Kobe GT under the Armor All Bridge as he now heads into Murray Corner. Very tight apex there, using all the track width, getting a little squirrely exit. Will he take pole from Lemon Pen? He will not!
Doesn't!
Lemon Pen improved! Lemon Pen
Pen
improved with a 201-2!
Holy smokes! Wow!
These two are going at it!
Alex just went up. Oh, sorry. Oh no, sorry, Alex was still in third. I thought Cooper went up to third, my bad. But yeah, Lemon Pen went even faster.
A 201-2. Not only smashing the previous qualifying lap record for ARC, but also smashing the race lap record set in real life by Shane Van Gisbergen.
Yes, Shane, you're slow.
Lemon Pen means business. I'm not quite sure if he's still up on time. He might still have time to improve here.
Notice there too, Joe Nom Nom has out-qualified Dan yet again. His last lap, 2:02.337. Just noticed in the first sector he went purple, but I don't know if his time will be allowed.
The call for qualifying being over is now there. We will see under the bridge. Nope, Lemon Pen will not go faster here. PKMZ will stop behind his teammate through Skyline, Alex Rogers. I'm not quite sure if he set a new fast lap there, but he's still going. I believe he might have made the cutoff to finish his flying lap. We'll see now as he heads through the cutting.
Oh, Joe's just lost it in the Forest Elbow. He was going to be 2/10 up in his previous time, and he's just dumped on the exit of Forest Elbow.
Right, you see Alex Rogers just kissing the wall on the exit of Reed Park, kissing the wall through Sullivan. So it's going to be a very hard lap from him. The yellow flags up ahead for both the AMG drivers that are pulled off to the side of the track. See if Alex Rogers can maintain his pace here. Nope, he's down by only a 10th, but there's still room for improvement, especially in the downhill for that Porsche. Really tight line there as he heads now into the dipper now. Now into Forest Elbow. Keeping that car very controlled. Now onto the Conrad straight, flat for that Porsche. Straight's not Porsche's specialty, but if he can carry the speed through the Forest Elbow, he might still improve on his time. Only a 10th down from PKMZ and 2/10 up from Kobu GT in 4th under the bridge. What time is it? 4/10. He will not improve his time.
Nah, I don't think it's going to be. Alex is not going to improve from his third place. He's got Kevmeister just ahead. That's going to lose him even more time.
There he goes off.
Yeah, he goes off. And does a half spin.
And qualifying over for Alex Rogers. Kobe GT, his qualifying is also done. So the qualifying is over for every driver other than CRubennnn. Ruben seems to be going on a lap here. Let's see if he can improve from that 9th place as he goes through the chase now. Under the Armor All Bridge and into Murray's Corner, we will see if he can finish this lap and improve from that 9th place finish.
The clock says 24 minutes. He's 4 minutes past it.
Let's see if he will improve. He might. He will to 6th place.
But that's 4 minutes past the end of qualifying.
That is very true. We do not know if that time will stand. We don't know if his time will count, as the lap times here are only 2 minutes long, so he would have had to start his lap after the call for qualifying was made. So there may be some dispute for that position on the start line.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to grass Ruben up here, but you know, he did that. He must have did the lap like that was 2 minutes over the qualifying.
So we'll see.
That's up to you, race stewards. not
it
our
is. Alright, so now we get the call. Qualifying is now over. The race will start here soon in about 3 minutes. We will be back with you in a few moments for the start of round 4. Excuse me. Right, here we are for the final round 4 here at Mount Panorama for our Tier A Group 3 Championship. Lemon Pen on pole. One thing to note specifically for this track, cars start side by side. They are not a staggered start like we see on some other tracks. So it does say PKMZ is currently in the lead, but that is because it is a side-by-side start. So we will see here as the lights will come on and we'll go out here. Standing start for PKMZ. We expect him to take the lead on the start because the AMG is an absolute rocket ship. PKMZ will take the lead, so looking back on board for PKMZ as they head into turn 1.
Wow, what a start from that Mercedes.
Absolutely, getting almost half a second lead over Lemon Pen in second place. Lemon Pen second, Alex Rogers in third, so Alex actually getting that car away. Kobu in fourth, leading ahead of Kevmeister, CRubennnn. Chill Nom Nom currently in seventh, trying to use the power of that Aston Martin. You see Kev trying to go up the inside of Kobu GT as they head into the Griffin's Bend. Kev will get the job done. Ruben might try to go with him, but not quite close enough. We Chill Tom Nom in the back. Kobu gets worse. He will clip Ruben.
Oh, I thought it was going to be carnage there, but it looks like everyone got away scot-free.
Defiant will clip the one side wall and will give room to Chill Nom Nom as Bobsy will run back into the back of Defiant. Tom is struggling here towards the back of the pack. Let's go get a replay of what happened here between... Not quite far enough, so let me just try that again. Excuse me. Go farther back here as you see go on board Defiant for what happened up here as we see Dan's try to look the inside of Chill Nom Nom. Chill Nom Nom will go wide. Kobu will get on the throttle a little too early and will run into CRubennnn as they go through Griffins.
Yeah, I think that there's definite lag issue. Could be a bit of a problem in this race.
Might be, as we do see some of the drivers jumping around on track. A lot of the drivers now is kind of sorting things out. PKMZ now with a second gap over Lemon Pen. Alex Rogers still 7/10 behind Lemon Pen in third place. Kev in a fairly distant fourth place, a second and a half, behind Alex Rogers in third. Dan's 303 in fifth, and Kobu GT a second behind him. Chill Nom Nom in seventh, being able to recover after that mistake going through Griffins. Defiant now, a driver I haven't seen too much of the championship, currently sitting in the mid-pack all over the back of Defiant. Chill Nom Nom, as they go into the chase. They're not quite going to gain position there. We see Vopsy going wide through the chase in the background of the shot. Coming back on track. That might be a slight unsafe rejoin, so that's going to be a very... Stewards might have to look at that as they're now going side by side into Murray's corner. Thomas McKeety will take that position. Vopsy will concede position. Now Dark Reef Slark beside him. As we see Vopsy will spin at the exit of Murray's and go into the tire wall just outside the exit of the pit entry.
Oh, disastrous already for the Beatles there. Rubens and Vopsy making mistakes on the opening lap. That's going to really hurt their manufacturers' championships. Good start though from Dan's. He started, I believe, in 8th and he's up to 5th. So great start from the defending champion.
Dan's doing very strong here to try and close the gap to Kevmeister in 4th place. The gap now 1.3 instead of the 1.5 that it was, I do believe. Nom Nom behind his teammate now making his way by Kobu GT. Sorry, we missed that pass. Let's see if we can get a replay on that. Yeah, he just moved up the inside going into Griffin's Bend and will take the position for Kobu GT. So Kobu moving backwards here, struggling with that M6, but Chill Nom Nom trying to get that car settled as they now go through Solomons Park and into Skyline. The understeering of the Aston Martins struggling a bit here through the upper section of Mount Panorama, but managing to keep it under control.
Yeah, Nom Nom he's pulled away from Kobe quite a lot, although rates to the BMW is a lot better than the Aston. You see how much it closes up there on the exit of the dipper and then into Forest Elbow, and Kobe was right on the back of it. Then you watch that Astons go away on the commentary.
See now go back and look behind. I've actually on board the gap 3/10 separating them now. I would expect it to increase the farther they go down the hill, but it is seeming to be closing. The BMW is just close enough to get the draft of the Aston, not allowing it to pull away. But Chill Nom Nom will sit that car in the middle of the track as they now head into the chase. Not allow Kobu to go by. Chill Nom Nom holding on to it.
Very clean, well, apart from the two Beatles, but very clean open 2 laps. You were right there about Vopsy came onto the track very dangerously in the lap before. I mean, I think Alex Rogers had a bit of a warning for that in the first race, I do recall.
Chill Nom Still holding on that 6th place ahead of Kobu GT in 7th. The stewards have quite a few things to look at already in Mount Panorama. Very beautiful track, a very tight track. Walls on both sides of you, especially as you go up the mountain. Not easy, very easy. Well, not easy to drive and very easy to make mistakes. As you mentioned, it's going to come down to the driver that makes the least amount of mistakes, PKMZ. Now 2 seconds ahead of LemonPen in 2nd place. He's only 1.3 seconds ahead of Alex Rogers in 3rd. He's 2 seconds ahead of Kevin Meister in 4th. The field is pretty well split up from there, with Chilled and Almond and Kobu GT fighting for 6th place being the closest battle on the track.
Yeah, Bathurst requires about of maximum concentration every lap. You've got to do that 22 times around this. Chilled a little bit wide on the Exodus Solman then, but into McPhillamine. And again, pulling away from Kobu, but then you just watch the brakes on that BMW just goes right up on the Aston.
Especially to the S is now a very tight section that will possibly not favor the Aston. He will kiss the wall. Kobu will also favor the wall, but he will spin.
A pick to win!
Kobu making a very large mistake here going down through the S's. Let's see what happens. Back on board with him.
He touched the wall. He touched the wall in the middle of the cut. A dipper, sorry.
Yeah, he just touched the wall again on the throttle, and the car will spin off from Kobu not having a good race here at one of his favorite tracks.
Right, and my favourite is now PK to win. I change it. What did we say in the group in the Twitch chat?
Not too much. A lot of people voting for LemonPen here, like rooting for him, I should say. And then Ronu saying quality over here was called the 22XX lads. So maybe something's going on with quality. There's Kobu once again getting the rear end of that BMW to kick out. So Kobu struggling here as he goes side by side with Gr3 Slark into turn 1 hell corner.
New lap record set on lap 2 by PKMZ 201.5. That breaks the lap record from Alex last year. Was it a 201.7?
No, it was set by PKMZ last year with a 201.7.
Oh, it was set by PK. Yes, it was. My apologies. So yeah, PK going even faster than what he did in the race. He was driving an Alfa Romeo in season 1.
PKMZ showing he means business here as he's slowly but surely increasing the gap to LemonPen in 2nd place. PKMZ looking very strong here in a very solid and very consistent 1st place. LemonPen doing his best to try and close up to PKMZ, but it's not quite working. Alex Rogers still in 3rd place. LemonPen will make a mistake. LemonPen dipped the tire and will kiss the wall. Let's go on board back and see what happened there. He will also pick up a penalty for it.
2.5 second penalty.
He'll just dip a tire into the grass. It will cause the car to spin.
Like I says, you need maximum concentration around this track. It's not the easiest track to win around here.
So he will have to immediately. He will have to immediately serve that penalty as according to the ARC rules, which will put him back in a battle for 4th place with Kev Meister and Dan's 303.
Dan's is catching Kev Meister and all.
So a breath of fresh air for PKMZ, who now 4 laps into the race has a 5-second gap to 2nd place of Alex Rogers. Our Kev Meister will move up into 3rd place in LemonPen, sitting at 4th with Dan 03, the previous champion, right on the back bumper.
Just looking back here, the 2 Beatles still 11th and 12th, but Kev's trying to start catching up. However, Ruben 28 seconds behind PK. It's really going to hurt the Manufacturers' Championship right there.
Definitely will, and will also hurt the Lexus's race after that mistake from LemonPen. The reason they've been able to hold that constructor's position so much is because LemonPen's won every race. Whereas if he falls back now, we could see... Actually, no, the Porsches, other than Alex Rogers, hasn't been doing too well either here, but Thomas GT currently 8th. So we might see a nice elevation in points for Alato Racing.
Good start as well from Thomas, up to 8th. Started, I believe, last, I think. It was 12th, I believe. But he's up to 8th, so hard charging already is Thomas, but I think it was just due to a couple of mistakes from the Volkswagens. Although he is under a lot of pressure from a very racy Gr3 now.
Yep, Gr3, another driver we haven't seen too much here in this championship. But both drivers go wide through the cutting. Both drivers go wide through the cutting. The Kobu GT has fallen down to 10th place. After starting 4th, has fallen down to 10th.
Yeah, good to see Gr3 now actually battling up from, you know, his best finish the season so far. Let me bring it up again. I think it's been like, what is it? It's been 12th, and that was last week in Suzuka. Sitting in 9th position. He was also the one that the endurance race. He finished 3rd behind Foxy in 2nd, and he was also teammates to PK. Oh, Kobu hits the wall really hard on the...
Once again, making a mistake. Any damage to that car? Not yet. But Kobu making a lot of mistakes here at Mount Panorama.
I think that was just because the pressure says you're my favourite to win. That's what he's doing. What are you doing to me, Kobu? I had £50 on you to win this.
Looking at Kobu's information here on screen, I think the issue here is the fact that this is the one race he's now trying to run without any traction control. And the M6, as we mentioned at every other previous race, is a very tail-happy car. So he's definitely struggling through that down the mountain section of the track.
Right, okay then. Battle for 3rd now, Kenneth Meister, Lemon Pen on the back of that Supra.
As finally closing up to the back of Kezmeister as they go through Hell Corner. Now, on the mountain straight, let's look back behind Kevmeister as they come up the hill. The gap slightly closing from the draft, but he will not be close enough to make a move for that 3rd place. Kev will still go defensive, though.
Defense. Into Griffins. Oh, Lemon Pen getting the back end, sliding out.
Griffins, but now through cutting, will he open the door through cutting? Not quite close enough to still make that move. So still a close battle for 4th place between Kevmeister and Lemon Pen.
Kevmeister is, from what Alex was saying in the stream last week, a blocker. So Lemon Pen, you've got to do well to pass Kev.
Kevmeister, very, very skillful at making his car as wide as he possibly can. Not easy to get by him. Another driver that's like that on the field is Defiant 195. Not easy to pass him either, especially on a track like this. It's very narrow and has walls on both sides of you, especially from the mountain section that they have been going through right now. As Kev will just kiss the wall but get away with it. So very close call for Kevmeister there as they now go through Forest Elbow.
Yeah, we're seeing a few mistakes here from Lemon Pen. This is like the first actual signs of pressure getting to Lemon Pen here.
We haven't seen him make mistakes all season until he's coming here. That was the first major mistake we've seen Lemon Pen make all season.
Even in the practice race, he didn't make a mistake.
Exactly, and Lemon Pen here, I'm not sure if Bathurst is the track he struggles on, but Lemon Pen is definitely struggling here in general.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's his worst track. He's the defending winner of this track a season ago.
That's very true. And he won that race very convincingly by over 30 seconds. So, Lemon Pen just making a small mistake and it costing him. This could be the first race we see that's not won by Lemon Pen this season.
Yeah, slight jinx in the armour in Lemon Pen's championship lead. Although, however, saying that, Rubennnn, who's sitting in 2nd, is still down in 12th, I believe. Oh no, he's up to 11th. Voxy must have made another mistake. So Rubennnn 2nd in the points, up to 11th. I think with Lemon Pen, it's not much of a big issue really. If he's sitting 4th in his next championship attempt, was sitting down in 11th place. He is still gaining points overall, but still, it's PK. He should be worried at now.
Yeah, PK, if he were to win today, he would score a solid 50 points, which would all to roughly 130 points on the championships, which would be a very good result for him.
PK was one of the biggest movers in the points after his podium finish at Suzuka, whereas Alex was one of the biggest losers after his couple mistakes there. PK getting a little bit sideways on the exit of the dipper. He's got to be careful. Doesn't want to be using those tyres as much. So I just noticed there his tyres, especially the right front, is a little bit worse for wear than compared with Alex and Kevmeister's.
They try to take a slightly wider entry through Forest Elbow, trying to get the run on Kevmeister, but still not quite able to do it. But now they're on the Conrad straight, half a second to separate them as they now head up the hill and back down the hill. Not quite be close enough to make the move into the chase, but they're still pretty close.
We've got a 3-car battle for 8th position. The Porsche of Thomas, the Mercedes of Gr3, and the BMW of Kobu, all battling. Trying to catch up with the TMB champion as they're heading into the chase.
As they enter the chase. You see Gr3 late on the brakes using the best that AMG. Finally, Pete Gr3 starting to show some pace this season. He is a very quick driver in his own right, but been struggling with some internet connection issues as he's looking to make a move on the outside of Thomas Mr. TT through Murray. He's not going to get that move done. We'll go a little bit wide in the exit. Kobu will have to make some avoiding action as not running the back of Gr3 Sark, and he will slot back into their original positions.
I think there was contact there. Oh, Gr3 again a little loose on her corner, and again Kobu hitting the back of Gr3.
Gr3 definitely showing he has pace now for this race. Possibly one of the tracks he favors, or the track that car favors, as we see by PKMZ leading by quite the margin here as they now go through Griffins. But Gr3, it's good to see him back in the mix now that he's seemingly having to figure it out. His connection issues, why he was lagging, but now he's here in the mix, fighting for that 8th place of Thomas Mr. TT.
I think the one strong thing that Mercedes has is the brakes. Excuse me. That Mercedes has such amazing brakes. You can brake really late and still turn in the corner fine. I mean, that's my manufacturer when I do the manufacturing races. Someone just kissed the wall. Did I notice on your screen?
That was Gr3 Sark, as we were saying.
Oh, okay then. Nearly the commentators because yet again. But no, Gr3, yeah, showing signs that he's gonna make his quest up there. Obviously, he's not gonna win the championship. It's a given. But you know, he wants to show some fight that he's worthy to be in his Tier A. And it looks like the lagging issues has not been that much of a bother, I don't think.
As he's all over the back, Thomas Mr. TT now as he made a mistake through the forced elbow. Gr3 will get the run, but Thomas will park the car in the middle of the track. We will see Gr3 try to go to the inside through the kink. Will they touch as they go through the kink? We saw that happen last year with PKMZ and CJ. We will see they're side by side. No, not quite. Look very close though, but hard on the brakes. They will maintain position.
The defense. We saw a lot of people make mistakes when they're going side by side in the cut. And Thomas a little sideways. Here comes Kobu on the inside of Muddies.
Get the move done. He will not fall back behind Gr3 Sark. And the more they fight, you would think the more they would fall off the back to 5, but they've maintained the gap to him in 7th.
I've probably just noticed that battle for 8th position. Penn has body.
As Kobu will make a large mistake at the exit of Hill Corner and will spin the rear end of the car out.
No, Kobu. What's he done? I was actually watching Penn on my screen.
Let's see here. I think he just did the tire in the grass and caused the rear end of the car to spin out. No, he just got on the throttle too early.
Yeah, he did, yeah. So Kobu's struggling with no traction control, looks like.
Definitely seems to be
and
the
my
case,
pick.
but that will favor Gr3 Sark, and now he does not have to worry about Kobu GP all over the back of him, as he can now just focus on getting by Thomas Mr. TT and to fight 195 ahead of him.
Before you were saying about Kobu's mistake, I don't know if you heard me there, but Penn, it's up to 30, past Kevmeister. Oh, little mistake in the S's was Lemon.
One thing to notice that this current battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th is almost a reflection of the battle for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd right now. All their teammates are now currently in almost in reverse positions here, except it's flipped. It's the AMG that's in the back here, the 3rd place in this battle, with the Lexus being in front.
Oh, I never noticed that. I never noticed that at all.
Now as they head on the
Thomas.
Conrad Straight, see the Gr3 Sark, we're expecting to catch right up to the back of that Porsche 911. Car's not very strong here on straights. Not quite close enough to make a move, but you will think about it maybe as they go through the kink. Laid on the brakes, almost into the back of them as they head into the chase.
That is with the brakes though. Like I said, the Mercedes brakes is so good.
Right into Murray's. The gap once again closing. He's going to be all over the back of Thomas Mr. TT now as they head across the start-finish line. Lap 9. Starting lap 10, excuse me, of 22. We will expect to see some cars making their pit stops here soon enough.
Interesting line that Thomas took now at the in the middle of Murray's He took a tighter exit, whereas Gr3 used all of the track there. It's definitely catching Thomas again.
Yeah.
Porsche is slow on the straights. That's a fact. But,
Very
you know...
defensive, making sure Darkreef doesn't
Oh,
get an opening, but
Thomas
now he
sideways.
might have one as they go into the cutting.
Thomas was sideways in the middle of Griffin's. That Porsche is one of the slowest cars on the straightaways. I know that for a fact. Given that I was racing that car in our manufacturing season 1. And particularly, Thomas is a better driver than me.
But the gap now evening out as they go through the uphill and across through Solon Park into Skyline.
Just looking here, no real any battles except for the battle for 7th now. Yeah, they're just the top 6 be split now. Thomas again sideways. He's going to be making a pit stop very soon. His tyres are really struggling.
He's made another large mistake as they went through the dipper, almost kissing the wall. Rear end coming out in the rear end of that Porsche. Not what we want to see. But we're still catching Defiant 195.
I'm wondering if Thomas is on no traction control as well, like Kobo, because he is getting the rear end sliding out quite a lot.
He does not use traction control. Darkreef maybe looking for a move into the chase, not quite close enough to make the move.
Yeah, they've caught with Defiant now. I think Defiant is struggling with those tyres. Who's going to be the first to make the pit stop? Kev is going in first to make the pits.
Typical of Kev, he usually tries to go for the undercut in that Toyota. Darkreef will get the rear end of the car loose and will fall off the back of Thomas Mr. TT as they exited Murray Corner. So now Thomas Mr. TT is free to focus on getting by Defiant 195 as they head on the mountain straight.
You see the replay, yeah, just gets on the power just a bit too early and yeah, nearly lost it. But could save though Darkreef.
Oh, but one thing to notice, in the back of the shot, you see CRubennnn in 9th place.
Oh yes, yes. I think he's a definite man on the mission. Has Kobo made a pit stop? Oh, Kobo's in the pits. He must have made a. Oh no, he's just come out of the pits. My apologies. But yeah, Rubens, he's coming up to battle. This is just damage limitations now for this people.
But I do believe he is closing the gap to Darkreef, Thomas Mr. TT, and Defiant 195. And Kev Meister, the man who just made his pit stop going for the undercut, did come out behind Ruben.
I've just noticed the tyre wear between Ruben and the leader PK. It's pretty much Ruben's his tyres is about PK's tyres compared to Ruben's. Ruben's is about half wear than PK.
Especially compared to Lemon and Alex Rogers. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the difference between a steering wheel and a controller.
Yeah, definitely. You having a steering wheel is a big advantage.
You see PKMZ going to make his pit stop now halfway through the race. Smart move from him. Not going to make those tires last any longer than they have to. Currently a 6-second gap he had. Alex Rogers, when he made his pit stop, Alex Rogers will be joining him. But PKMZ saved a lot of fuel in the lead. Alex Rogers used a lot of fuel, so we might see Lemon jump Alex Rogers just if they take fuel.
I think the gap there between Alex and Lemon before they pitted was 3 seconds. So this is going to be interesting to see who's out in second. Gans is in the pits. Nom's in the pits as well. Thomas is in.
66% fuel on the exit. We will see CRubennnn will take up the 2nd place. Well, no, he will not stay there as Kev will come out.
Lemon Penn's got jumped Alex. Lemon Penn has jumped Alex. And that's all because of the fuel.
Yep, there's now a 2nd gap between them as they head up the hill. But PKMZ, because he saved fuel in that lead, you don't need to save tires. He had a 7-second gap. You can use all those tires, but save some fuel in the lead. Shift up early. Maybe make some adjustments to the fuel saving route. Use less fuel than the rest of the field. Grow that gap, which he has, up to 8 seconds. And now CRubennnn, who has yet to pit on the soft tires, he will have to pit to take on fuel, but he's currently in 4th.
Yes, yeah, but if he makes the pit stop, where is he going to fall down to? But looking at those tires, they are not worn. I wonder if he can do like another 4, maybe 5 laps and then come in again. I don't know.
If he can keep that tire wear the way it is, he might just be able to take fuel in his next stop.
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. Oh, I just noticed that Kev Meister a little sideways on the exit of the dipper. But Kev Meister showing a lot of promise in this race here.
Yes, he is. He's doing his best to try and maintain that gap. As we see back behind him, Dan's 303. Looking back in the battle, Chill Nom Nom currently in 7th place. Defiant is a good gap between him and Darkleaf Slug. He has managed to get by Thomas Mr. TT at the pit stops, but now Kobu GT all over the back of Thomas Mr. TT once again.
Yeah, just picking up on that battle right now. Oh, Darkleaf. You did mention that Darkleaf went out ahead of Thomas there. I think you did, didn't you? Something like that. Anyways, going into the chase then. Darkleaf ahead of Thomas, and then Kobu down in 11th. He was the first to make a pit stop. Well, he pitted on the lap.
Oh, Thomas!
No! And
Maybe
a big
slight good contact there, possibly costing Darkleaf, but let's go back on board with that, see what happened here between Thomas Mr. TT. Did he just get on the brakes too late?
I think it was...
Yeah, just way too late on the brakes. Will make contact with Darkleaf Sark. Both will go wide, which will give Kobu GT an advantage out of the exit of the corner. But Kobu will run into the back of Darkleaf.
And then Darkleaf came onto the track quite dangerous when Kobu was about to pass them both. So that's another one to be talking about for stewards after this race.
Kobu GT managing to get by Darkleaf. You see Thomas GT giving a little bump to Darkleaf there. Giving him a little bit of a bump draft.
Rubens has made his pit stop and he's down in 8th place. Did he make tyres? Yes, he did. He made tyres, yeah. He's going to be a couple laps fresher though than the guys ahead of him, so he's got Defiant up in 7th, 2 seconds behind, and then Chilled Nom Nom is 10 seconds ahead of Defiant. So really effectively, Rubens could be looking for potentially a 6th place finish. I think he finished 7th last season, did Rubens?
Me here at Mount Panorama?
Yeah, I believe he was. I might be wrong.
He might have, but he also had contact, quite heavy contact with Darkleaf Slug in the first corner.
Yes, oh yes, I forgot about that, yeah.
So a lot of the battles on track have pretty much smoothed out. The closest on the track seemingly back in the mid-pack here, featuring Darkleaf Slug, Thomas Mr. TT, and Vopsy, who's trying to close up to the back of 11th place now.
Yeah, Vopsy finished 2nd in the endurance race, definitely struggling in that B2, although in that endurance race he drove a GTR. And we know from experience, you know, driving a GTR around here is pretty good. Bowker then finished the car in 2nd behind the winner Lemon Pen.
Bowker was very strong in that Nissan GTR. You know, he did not like it. He did not like the tire wear. He didn't like the fuel wear, the fuel usage, I should say. But he was very strong in it. PKMZ still your leader by over 8 seconds ahead of Lemon Pen. He's only 1.4 ahead of Alex Rogers, with a 5-second gap to Kev in 4th place.
Rubens is starting to catch up on Defiant now. He's gained 8/10 in one sector. Defiant didn't really make a mistake. I mean, looking at Ruben, his system of his tyres is a lot more. It's a lot more. Come on about. His tyres are a lot better than what Defiant's is.
Have to agree with you there, Ruben. The Pirelli Picasso, using his tire wear and superior knowledge as a driver, catch up to the back of Defiant 195 as they go through cutting now. The gap definitely coming down. Defiant possibly made a mistake on the exit of cutting, might have been into the exit of the wall. The gap did close by, yeah, possibly by a couple tenths. It came down to the exit of the cutting. We will see if that will come down more as they go through the skyline and into the downhill section of Mount Panorama. Gap under a second now. So Ruben definitely using his fresh tires to close the gap to Defiant.
Still though, this is a best effort though from Defiant. His best finish so far has been 11th, so I did message him saying, are you hoping for the top 10? He says yes, because this is also his favourite track, and he's doing quite well. 7th place, could potentially lose that 7th place, although Ruben's lost a bit of ground on Defiant. And it was a second, wasn't it? And now it's up to 1.3.
Yep, so slight mistake for Ruben on the downhill section.
Lemon Pen's gone faster, 2:01.030, absolutely smashing the lap record. He is not wanting to give up without a fight here. Gap now 8 seconds on PK.
2:01 flat is absolutely amazing. That's breaking the record we just set in qualifying and beating it here in the race. That's an absolutely magical lap.
I wouldn't surprise me if we shortcutted any corners though.
Don't forget, anyone watching with us in the Twitch chat, you can vote for your driver of the day. Just say their name in the chat and we'll tally it and give it to the driver in the driver's briefing after the race. So don't forget about that. As we see Lemon Pen just using every bit of the track here through the mountain section to try and close up the PKMZ. They got 8 seconds to try and close up to, but PKMZ's done a solid race at the front here. No mistakes from him so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I seem to use the word flawless a lot, but that's what PK is. He seems to always get the car sideways on the exit of the Devils at Forest Elbow. He did that in qualifying, and he's doing that in the race. He's got a there's about 8 laps left, and he's got good wear on the rear tyres. But don't be doing too much of that.
Definitely have to agree. You've still got 7-8 laps to go here. You do not want to throw that race away. It's only an 8-second lead. You make a heavy mistake, you go wide into the gravel trap, you spin the car around. That's that lead gone.
Yeah, this track is very unforgiving. Definitely.
That's the gap between Lemon Pen and Alex Rogers increased to over 3 seconds now.
It's a better showing from Alex this time. He's shown what he's capable of. Again, he has got race wins in him, but you know, definitely a better showing than what we see from Alex in the lap. I would say, no, Suzuka, really.
I would definitely have to agree there. Alex is definitely trying to show why he's means business here today. He wants to make up for that poor showing we saw at Suzuka. Show that he's still a master class driver. In that portion on 11, Kev still currently in 3rd place, 5 seconds behind Alex Rogers, and Dan's Gr3, last season's champion, currently sitting 5th.
Props as well to Nom Nom in 6th position. He is the best of the rookies in this. Sitting in 6th, Defiant 2nd in the rookies, but 7th overall. And then we go back to Kobu, who is 3rd, and Vopsy still struggling in that Beetle last. But he's actually catching on Thomas. But I've noticed that Thomas must have made a few mistakes because Vopsy's only 1.2 seconds behind Thomas.
Yeah, this is Ruben. We see Ruben all over the back of Defiant now. We just saw in the foreground of the shot. The gap between them, almost half a second. Ruben gets a little squirrely at the exit of cutting as he tries to close up to the back of Defiant. That'll cost him 2 tenths. They can still go up the mountain through Kitsu's sign. Now going through Solomon Park.
Gap now to PK to Lemon Pen is slowly coming down. It's down to 6 seconds, but you know, PK not under a lot of pressure though.
No, he's not. He just sit there, still get his laps together and gap out from Lemon Pen. Even if Lemon Pen catches a tenth or 2 a lap, it's still not enough to give him the win.
Good showing as well from Kev Meister, sitting in 4th position. But a little slow on the exit of the chase, and Dan's has caught up at least 4 tenths on him.
I'm currently on board with Ruben right now, who's all over the back. Defiant 195 as they head through the kink. Excuse me, Ruben taking a wide entry through the kink. Now Defiant going defensive through the corner. Ruben still all over the back of him as they're going to head through the exit of the chase and into Murray's corner. But Defiant will gap out through the chase and will hold that 7th position.
Yeah, Defiant, as you said, they're very good trying to defend his position. So Ruben, it's not going to be easy trying to get by Defiant.
He's one of the notorious for being one of the hardest drivers in the PA2 pass. Very, very skillful at making that car as wide as he possibly can. So Ruben will not have an easy time getting by him, especially in that Beetle, but it's not necessarily the best on the straights. You've seen the background of the shot. Kobu GT making up some time on both of those drivers. Currently now 1.5 and before they cross the start-finish line. It was less than that as we see CRubennnn almost side by side with Defiant as Defiant makes a slight mistake through Griffins. Now Kobu within a second of both of them, so Kobu definitely using all of that M6's power to catch up to the back of both of them.
And look at Gr3. Gr3 is catching up to the back of Kobu's BMW and all, so we could have ourselves a return for the four-car scrap for 7th.
We definitely could. CRubennnn here, definitely separating them. Will he manage to find his way by, or will he just get stuck between the BMW and the Lexus? As they now come down the hill, Kobu right all over the back of CRubennnn now. Kobu just so much faster through that end of the second and beginning of the third sector.
This is why Kobu's This is why Kobu's picked Bathurst as his favourite track. Look at the damage on the front of Kobu's front. Look at that. Oh, that's a lot of scrapes.
CRubennnn now side by side with the 5195 as they head through the kink. Will they get through it clean?
Oh,
very close, and maybe a little bit side by side touch, but CRubennnn will get the inside. Kobu's now going to be all over the back of Defiant, who gets a little squirrely as he enters the chase, and now there's a battle for 8th place between Kobu and Defiant. Defiant defensive as they head towards Murray's corner. Kobu not going to find a way by him.
Defiant made a bit of a mistake there. He let CRubennnn pass go on the outside and then goes to the inside for the chase there, so he should have stuck on the outside going into the chase and the fast right-hander and then into the chase. He can defend his position better there, so little mistake there from Defiant, and now Rubens can pull away from that battle for 8th.
On board with Gr3 now as we see Kobu GT trying his best to find a way by Defiant 195 as they head back up the mountain. Stay on board with this battle, see if any developments happen here as the rest of the field does seem to have gapped out and balance things out between them. Kobu GT trying to make his way up, back up to the field. He will once again spin it! Kobu GT will make another mistake at the exit of cutting, and the rear end of the car will slide out and will cost him position.
Might go down to last place. I just see Thomas and Vopsy battling for last. But was it just getting on the power a bit too early? Yeah, it looked like he did.
Kobu GT will fall all the way back to last place because of that mistake.
Oh, what a disaster. He had high hopes. And, you know, he's made how many mistakes now? Four mistakes, and it's really cost him.
Definitely struggling in that M6. But I'll give him props for trying something new, not using the traction control in a car that's typically very happy in the rear end, and a track that's very off-camber with a lot of bumps and uneven corners. So props to him for trying it, especially here at his favorite track. We're back on board with Gr3 now, and you see him all over the back of Defiant 195 as they head towards the kink. Will he find a way by into the chase? Not quite close enough. But Defiant will be wide through the first corner of the chase. Gr3 will go side by side, but will back out of it. Things better of it as they exit the chase. Defiant will still hold to that 8th position as they go through Murray's corner.
Just looking at the times here between PK and Lemon. Lemon is currently faster if I go through the last 4 laps, if you will. PK's 15th lap, 2:01.5. Lemon Pen 2:01.3. 16th lap, PK 2:02.0. 2:01.8 from Lemon Pen. Lap 17, 2:02.1. 2:01.4 from Lemon Pen. 2:02.4 PK to a 2:02.4.55, just a little bit faster. So Lemon Pen is slowly beginning to catch up. 6.4 is the gap.
So the gap definitely coming down between first and second, but not quite enough as there's just 4 laps remaining here at Mount Panorama. Still on board with Gr3 as we see him try to catch up and get by Defiant 195 as they go to the mountain section, but Gr3 getting the rear end of the car out as they went through cutting. Cutting not an easy corner, very easy to break right into it and down the throttle a little bit too late. The gap now will increase due to mistake from Gr3.
It's good to see the likes of Defiant and their Gr3, giving them a lot of TV time since the first 3 races. We haven't had a lot of TV time with them, but this is good to see though, and definitely good confidence for both Defiant and Gr3 heading for the week break and then going into the 5th round of the championship.
Definitely have to agree with you. That's what we want to see here in TRA. We want to see everyone battling with everyone as the gap down. It's just over 6 seconds separate Lemon Pen and PKMZ with 3 laps remaining here at Mount Panorama. Actually, now it's 5.9 seconds.
I think Kobu's called it quits. He's in the pit lane, no change to tyres, so Kobu, I believe, has called it quits. Such a shame though, because he's had 2 strong finishes, 4th and a 6th, and then here he said it's his favourite track, my pick to win, and I think he's gave it up. Such a shame though.
Well, they have retired the only running M6 for today's race, so no good points for them. But they're already in last place, so nothing's really going to change for them. On board with the leader now. PKMZ as he goes through Silliman's Park. An absolute masterclass from him today. Taking the lead on the start of the race. And has held it ever since. After a mistake from Lemon Pen caused the gap to widen. Alex Rogers doing his best to try and close up to Lemon Pen, but not quite working. But we expect the race, besides any mistakes, to finish as it is, especially with the gaps as they are. Kev Meister will once again come across the line in probably a 4th place if he can maintain the gap to Dan 303 in 5th.
Just notice the gap between Kev Meister and Dan's 303 when I was on Kev. It was up to about 3.8 seconds. It was down as low as 1.8, so Kev made a mistake somewhere, but looks like he's starting to pull away on that Aston.
Might be the case. The Aston, though, very strong in straights, as is the Supra. We will see where he is. The battle might develop further on in the race. Chilnomna currently the best of the rookies, and Dan's his teammate currently in 6th place behind him. Ruben in a solid 7th place. Defiant 195 still doing his best to hold up Darkness Clark in that 9th place. ERA Vopsy currently in 10th with 4 seconds on both sides of him. Thomas Mr. T2 and 11th. We have Kobu GT in 12th place. 2 laps to go here at Mount Panorama. Currently, PKMZ is leading. I'm so used to saying Lemon Pen is leading at this point. But the gap has once again fallen. 5.2, 5.3 separate them.
Yeah, Lemon Pen is just being on a mission, setting fastest lap over PK. PK, just careful, he's getting the car sideways a lot now. What if he's feeling the pressure that he is on course for this first win? He can't afford to be doing that because, you know, Defiant is only 5 seconds back. Nearly less than 5 seconds now. He's starting to feel the pressure because PK is making a few mistakes, especially in the second sector.
I have to agree, but back on board, Defiant, who's less than, almost within a 10th of Dark Reef Slark. Now Dark Reef going to try and look for the outside as they go through Griffin's Bend. Going to be later on the brakes. Will he hold the position? A little bit of a contact between them. Dark Reef will go wide on the exit, but they're still side by side. Nope, Defiant will hold the position, but Dark Reef's going to look to the inside as they go through cutting, but he's going to think better of it.
Yeah, again, Defiant shows why he's one of the best defense positioned guys in this field.
Do you feel that perhaps Defiant 195 feels like he has to do slightly better in this race now that he sees his teammate isn't quite in the lead anymore?
Not necessarily. I think he's got a... Yeah, he is definitely on course for best finish of the season. He did say he wanted a top 10. He possibly will get that, barring mistakes. And also, it'll be good points as well for the manufacturers, since, you know, Defiant's been 12th and 11th. But an 8th place will be a better finish for the Lexus, and it will help the manufacturers too.
Back on board PKMZ. The gap between PKMZ and Lemon Pen, 4.2 seconds as they cross the line to start the final lap. PKMZ, hold on. Will he hold the pressure? Will he not falter? Will he finally score his first ever win in Tier A, or will Lemon Pen continue the streak here at Mount Panorama? We'll find out as they start to head up the mountain. PKMZ doing his best to control that car now as they head towards cutting. As we see just in the back of the shot, Lemon Pen will come around Griffin's. PKMZ going through cutting now, controlling the car just as much as he can. 1 lap remaining, almost half a lap left to go. PKMZ now going through Reeds, controlling the car, going wide, just kissing the wall. Now going through Solomon's. We expect it to be flat, maybe some slight lifts here through each corner, not quite kissing that wall ride, so what we don't want to see. Back here, we'll control the car very nicely, just touching the curb. Now into the S's as he starts the downhill. Halfway done the lap now. Very solid through the S's, the gap 3.8. He's not letting it get to him now through the dipper. Into Forest Elbow. He will keep it controlled and just has a few 3 corners left and a long straight. The gap 3.6, 3.7 now. As he heads down the Conrad straight, there will be no change in gap here. He has to get the last 3 corners right. He goes under the Armor All Bridge. Now through the kink, hard on the brakes between the 50 and 100 boards, into the chase. Will hold it. Keeps it very strong, 3.6 seconds now under the Armor All Bridge.
I wonder if he'll slide the last corner like what Chad's Mo. Let's see, does he do a little drift?
Keeps it through the corner, very tight and controlled. PKMZ will cross the line in first place, score his first win, and will end the streak of Lemon Pen here at Mount Panorama.
Lemon Pen slides across the line in second place. Still good effort though. He will keep his points lead. Alex Rogers, third place. Nice finish there. Kev Meister on course for his best finish.
Oh, look at that. Right behind him. The gap did come down, but Kev will hold that 4th place as he crosses the line and holds off Dance 303 for 5th. Chill Nom Nom will cross the line, and I believe would be his best finish in 6th place. It's a good result from him. Ruben will round Murray's corner and finish 7th place in the Volkswagen Beetle, the best of the Beetles here at Mount Panorama. Dark Reef did manage to get by Defiant 195 in the last lap, so Dark Reef will come across the line in 8th place, and Defiant 195 will come across the line in 9th. We have Boxy, the other Volkswagen Beetle, going to cross the line in 10th, and Thomas Mr. TT, who's just exiting the chase now, will come across the line in 11th, with Kobu GT, the only non-finisher for this race.
Go on, Thomas, slide there. There you go. Lovely drift. And still sliding. There you go. That's how you want to finish there. Just, you know, entertain the fans there on the side. But well done, PK. His first win. And it was coming, wasn't it? We saw he had potential to win at Dragon Trail. Made a mistake by making another pit stop. But he's finally done it.
PMZ will be the one to end the streak. They're the only other winner this season as we head into the 1-week break. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll be right back with some driver interviews. Okay, we are here. We have Alex Rogers. Alex, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, Lateral.
Hello, Alex. You had a very solid race today. Solid third place with some close action here at the towards the beginning of the race. How'd it feel out there?
Yeah, it was a really nice race. First things first, I think we need to say congratulations to PK for his first win. I think that was awesome. He did exactly the right thing by shooting off when he had the tyres to do it, and then just sort of holding on from there because I don't think anybody could really match him on pace during the race itself. Maybe in qualifying laps, but not in the race, man. It was crazy when he got new tyres. Yeah, but I just needed a solid result after last week's disaster, which I still haven't watched back yet. So although I probably could have maybe pushed the car a little bit more, I really needed a solid result just to get my confidence back up going into the mid-season break. And yeah, fingers crossed when we do come back from that, we'll be refreshed and we're ready to go again and competing for the win again, hopefully.
That's another thing I'd like to talk to you about. We saw you last season absolutely dominant. Very few mistakes, almost like Lemon Pen we saw so far this season. But so far this season, you've been struggling. We saw some mistakes at Dragon Trail. You saw you stuck in the back in the midfield. We saw at Suzuka a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes from you. But here at Mount Panorama, you seem to be slightly back on form. Do you feel that maybe there was some slight differences in the car that may be causing those mistakes that you not quite used to, or is there something else?
Maybe. If I wasn't so gung-ho at Suzuka, I think maybe we could have just brought it home in third or second or whatever. That was my fault. Like, we should have really been on the podium there. But Dragon Trail was maybe a bit different because we were all practicing mega hard for that first race. So everybody was like on such a high pace. I don't think the Porsche was the quickest round there anyway, given the high-speed corners and straights and stuff. So that was a tough race, but yeah, Suzuka was my bad. But I think I'm probably where I should be right now, to be honest with you. I'm probably going to be 5th or 4th or something after this race in the championship, so I'm probably where I should be. Everybody else has really raised their game, and it's really making it a fun challenge.
Alright, well, we have a week off next week. What do you plan on doing during that week?
I'm probably getting away, well, as far away from Gran Turismo Sport as possible, if I can. No, I don't know. I know there's the 3 hours in Nordschleife, which that might be a little bit too long for me to commit to, but probably sit back and watch it, to be honest with you. If people are driving in, I think it'd be great to watch that next Sunday.
Alright, well, thank you for joining us and good luck when we come back from break.
Thanks, guys.
Alright, CRubennnn, are you here?
Yes, I am. Good evening.
Good evening, Ruben. You had a very calm race, I would say. But one thing I do want to talk to you about is your tire wear. We noticed after about when everyone was starting to make their first stop, we noticed when we looked at your tire wear, you're roughly what I would say comparatively would be a lot of the cars when they're 7-8 laps into the race. So, do you feel that maybe making a pit stop for tires was the right choice, or do you feel like you maybe could have gone for fuel?
Well, I think I didn't have enough fuel, to try and go to the end. But I think you gain those 4 or 5 seconds back with fresh tires and taking, new tires actually, instead of, just moving on your old ones. So yeah, I don't think that was enough to do so.
Well, we saw you in a battle after your pit stop with Defy 195. Took you quite a while to get by him, especially trying to hold off the charging Gr3 Slark, and even Kobu GT behind him. So, explain just what was going through your head at that moment.
Well, I don't know, the Beetle doesn't have that much speed on the straights actually, and we all know Define is a good defender, so I actually just wanted to go by as fast as I can, because I saw Kobu and Gr3 Slark coming closer. I also had to save some fuel because I underfueled a little bit, to gain some spots on the track. So yeah, first 2 laps were actually just fuel saving, but then the 3rd or the 4th lap I got to pass it. So yeah, I think it went okay. It was pretty clean, I would say. It was a small touch, I remember, but all in all, it went pretty smoothly.
All right, one last comment. The Beetle typically struggles here at Mount Panorama, which we saw again last year. Do you feel like Mount Panorama is a track that you might need to work on, or is it just you feel like the car just does not suit the track at all?
Not really, actually. I really had pace to be, let's say, 4th, 5th, maybe around those spots. Yeah, I got caught up in that incident at T2. I still have to look at it. I don't know who touched me. But yeah, that spun me out, and I had to come all the way back because I was really pushing it to the final lap. And I saw I was closing in on Dance and Showed Nom Nom. So I knew I had to pace, but it's just unfortunate. Just as last season, I got caught up in some incidents, and well, yeah, that put me back. So I never got to show my real potential. Nevertheless, I wouldn't be up there with PK and Lemon. That was not that's not my pace. But yeah, top 5 would be reachable for me, I would say. But yeah, sadly, let's move on now to the next race, and from there on, we can still work on it.
All right, well, thank you for joining us, and enjoy the week off next week.
See you, lad.
Gr3, are you here?
Good evening.
Good evening, Dan. You had a very quiet race of your own, competing with your teammate for most of it, finishing back-to-back here. Explain to us what was going through your head in the final moments of the race when we saw you catch up to the back of Kevmeister.
Yeah, it was. I'm really surprised, to be honest, that I managed to stay so. And Chilled behind me stayed really consistent too. So yeah, we're happy, really happy. But yeah, I closed in on Kev lap 18, 19, and then binned it into the hairpin before the chase. So I dropped down like 5-6 seconds, and then I managed to catch up again. And just, yeah, tense at the end was all we beat me on. So really good result, but we could have come close.
One would say the Astid would favor the track in Mount Panorama with the many long straights. But how was the car handling as you went through the mountain section? Aston Martin known to understeer quite heavily due to the heavy V12 in the front of it. So what was it like going through that section, especially competing against cars like the Porsche 911 and the Toyota Supra?
I mean, yeah, it's got straights, but the mountain is so tricky when the understeer is so strong. Even it's kind of a balance of putting the brake balance towards the front of the car, but then that ruins your front tires in terms of tire wear faster. So yeah, it was a balancing act, but we just needed to stay consistent, and that's what we did.
Alright, well, you're last season's champion, but we see this season you're struggling quite a bit. Currently you were sitting, I believe it was either 4th or 5th in the championship standings. Do you think maybe some of the latter half of the races of this season, do you think you can maybe climb up the rankings a bit?
I wouldn't say struggling, but the competition has just gotten even stronger. So it's not that anyone's doing worse. You know, Alex isn't doing worse than last season. It's just everyone else has gone better. So yeah, the aim is to get podium this season, and I think I'll be 3rd or 4th after this race. And yeah, the last 4 tracks at the top of the list is going to be a struggle, but the other 3 will favour the Aston. So yeah, quite confident.
Alright, well, thank you for joining us, and good luck on the next round, especially after the week break we have coming up here.
Thank you.
Alright, Lemon Pen, are you here?
Good evening, Lateral.
Good evening, Lemon Pen. Finally, after 3 races, your winning streak has come to an end at the hands of PKMZ in the Mount Panorama circuit.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy for him. Like he put in a solid performance. I love the guy, so you know, I made that one mistake, fell off. I mean, it cost me maybe 2 seconds, but what did me in was the penalty from hitting the wall. So I had to save that. Ended up behind Kevin. Saved some fuel because I didn't want to I didn't want to try and attack Kevin full on because I know that he's pretty good at defending. So fair dues for him for that. But the saving fuel tactic certainly worked. Jumped Alex in the pits. Happy days, man. I'm happy with that result, you know?
Well, still currently the championship leader, and the first time you, again, haven't won a race here. So, how do you feel it's going to affect you going forward? Do you feel like PKMZ might possibly be an even stronger competitor going here into the later half of the season?
I hope so, you know? Like, I hope you can keep it going, because if someone's there, you know, like, just pushing you to your limit, then you've got to push yourself further, and it's just you build and build and build, and you know I want that challenge. So yeah, I really hope you can carry it on.
Alright, well, we saw in the first race of the season PKMZ had the race won until he decided to make his second pit stop. This race he definitely won in a solid, convincing fashion, although you were closing in the later half of the races. Do you feel like your only competition possibly for winning races here this season is PKMZ, or do you feel like some of the other drivers in the field might actually give you a run for your money?
Yeah, there's more than just PK in the field. You know, you've got Dan's, you've got Alex, Ruben even. I mean, remember his race? See the first race. I mean, he was there, you know. So there's definitely more competition than PK, but obviously I think PK is the one that's on fire right now. So we shall see. We've still got half the season to go. So.
Alright, and one last note, you saw your teammate Defiant finally doing his best finish of the season so far, finishing it, and I believe it was a solid 9th place after getting passed by Gr3 Slark on the last lap. So finally some good points for the Pegasus Racing team.
Yeah, that's good. The constructors will hopefully we're in a good position. I already know that Defiant can't make the next race, which is I believe it's the next race. So gonna drop some points there, I guess. But you know, I think we could nick it. I'm thinking.
Alright, well thank you for joining us and enjoy the week off.
Thank you, Lateral.
Alright, Kevin, are you here?
I sure am.
Hello, Kevin. A very calm race for you. A solid 4th place finish. Once again, this year, not quite on the podium.
That's correct.
Do you feel maybe you're struggling in the Supra this year?
I wouldn't call it per se struggling. I like the car. It's real fast. It's just somehow, compared to last season, people like Lemon, PK, and Alex, and Chilled, and Dan's, or whatever, have like put in a turbo knob on their freaking bodies and just went 200% because they're really fast, like from season 1 to 2 compared. So yeah, it's a bit adjusting to that. I did not have the best races, like a couple of races, but from Suzuka and Fuji, this is solid in my opinion.
Alright, well, we do know you chose the Supra for this season specifically because of its tire and fuel wear, as opposed to the GTR you raced last season, which had worse tire and fuel wear by comparison. Do you feel that maybe you perhaps perform better in cars that have a slightly higher skill ceiling? Do you feel like maybe the GTR you raced last season has a slightly higher skill ceiling than the Supra?
No, not really, because if I look at my times, like last season, I was pushing 203s, 204s, like in the same race as we just did, and I was doing consistent 202s this time, so I was definitely performing better. It's just, you know, in prospect, everyone else is just a lot faster all of a sudden. So I do believe I'm still faster, but I don't know. It's a thing. You can overdrive this Supra really easy.
Alright, well, we do have a week off next week, and with a 3-hour night race, the number being 12-hour, do we expect to see you there for that race?
Oh, no. I'm gonna take a long break.
Alright, well, enjoy your break, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks, mate.
Alright, Chilled Nom Nom, are you here?
Hello.
Hello, Chilled Nom Nom. Very strong result for you today. you kept the car fairly consistent throughout the race, making up for your mistakes we saw in the past previous rounds of Season 2. How was the car today out there?
It was alright. I haven't had any practice on this track because I've got exams tomorrow, so to be honest, I really should be going to bed after this. But yeah, I literally the first 30 minutes of practice before the event was my first time driving it. I quite enjoyed it actually. I thought the top of the mountain was going to be an issue, but I think with some practice I could have gone quicker, but it was consistent enough for me to handle it.
You saw through qualifying into the latter half of the race, you were matching your times with your teammate and Season 1 winner, Dan's 303. Do you feel maybe perhaps in the latter half of the season you might start coming into your own now that we've seen you possibly figure out your consistency issues and the start issues you've had in the past couple of races?
That's the goal. I'm not going to deny the fact that if I start beating my teammate, it will be, really enjoyable. I'm still having issues with my wheel at the moment. To be honest, at the end of the race, I more wanted to bring it home than challenge him. That's why I think I dropped to like a second and a half slower than my fastest lap, just to make sure that my wheel didn't cut out at the end. So if that's all fixed and I can obviously start practicing more, then why not? I'm going to go for it. And then who knows if I can maybe get on the podium, maybe even win. I don't know. It could happen.
Well, we are currently the best finishing rookie this season here at Mount Panorama, doing quite a fantastic job in the past couple of races, out qualifying your teammate at Dan's, at Suzuka notably. Hopefully we get to see you in top form for the rest of the season, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. See you later.
And finally, last but not least, PKMZ, are you here? PK, finally the one to end the winning streak of Lemon Pen here at Mount Panorama. Driving your favorite car on your favorite track. Explain to us the feeling.
It's good, I thought it'd be easier racing first, but then when I saw that Lemon was powering on towards me, I had to kind of decide whether I was further or bring it home, and I kind of bent in between this. I'm happy though I won.
Alright, you're definitely some of the favorite drivers on the track, especially when you talk to a lot of the other drivers here at Gr3. I know a lot of them are rooting for you here today. Do you think the later half of the season you can keep this form up and possibly challenge Lemon Pen for the win here?
I'd like to. I think the distant tracks that on it that practice before more as than what the let's say on top of this. And it could happen,
Well, we saw you on very top form, especially here, not only here, but at Dragon Trail. So hopefully we get to see you at top form again. Again, congratulations for your win here at Mount Panorama. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations.
Thanks.
Alright, well that will conclude our driver interviews here for Gr3. Thank you everyone for joining us. Remember, we are not here next week as we do take a week break, but we will still be joining you for the 3-hour endurance race on Nürburgring 24 hours at night. Again, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Adrenaline Racing Community. Don't forget to follow us here on Twitch. Give us a follow on Twitter. Join the Discord if you're interested in racing. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, don't forget to keep racing.